Hello everyone, and welcome to Bizarre Movies. Today we will recap a horror thriller movie, in which a sibling team tries to save a village from dangerous witches. But before we start, a gentle reminder that this is just a movie explanation and we encourage you to watch the full movie. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The film begins with a small family, in which a father takes his children into the woods. He asks his children to stay in the forest, promising that he will return for them. But unfortunately, he never does. In their attempt to return, they come across a lovely candy house. Being hungry and alone, they both eat the candies on the wall. They enter the house when the door opens unexpectedly. The candies were a trap to lure children inside. They come across an ugly-looking witch there. She imprisons the boy, and chains the girl. The witch forces the boy to eat the candies, and orders the girl to bring her more wood, as she is planning to cook the boy. However, the girl somehow manages to break her chain and attacks the witch. In return, the witch casts a spell on the girl, but that does not affect her at all. Apparently, both of these kids cannot be harmed by witches' spells. So these kids manage to push the witch into the furnace and burn her to death. After that, kids never saw their parents again. And this tale spread like wildfire in many villages. Many years later, they become professional witch hunters. Brother named Hansel, and sister named Gretel. One day, in a town called Augsburg, the sheriff accuses a woman of witchcraft, and demands that she be burned. He tortures her after the crowd agrees. However, the mayor of the town arrives, and informs the people that they cannot kill the woman without any evidence. The sheriff cuts the mayor's speech again, and encourages people to raise their voices in support of burning that woman. Apparently, small children in this town have been going missing one by one. The crowd, blinded by vengeance, then starts cheering in support of burning the woman alive. Suddenly, Gretel comes and tells him to let the woman go. Hansel is also there, and checks the woman for any signs of witchcraft. But he declares her a normal and clean woman. Her name is Mina, and she thanks Hansel for helping her. Mayor has hired the siblings to solve the case of missing children, and free the town from the witch's tyranny. The sheriff, however, does not want anyone interfering with his business, and he insults both of them, prompting Gretel to strike him. Later in the night, the mayor directs them to the north of the forest. Gretel starts with a hut in the jungle. She discovers a witch there. The witch attempts to flee on a broom, but after a long chase and a couple of fight scenes, they somehow overpower the witch. Unfortunately, no information about the missing children was discovered. They did, however, discover something extremely valuable, a map of a lunar eclipse, aka blood moon, that happens only once in a generation. It's the holiest night for witches, and will happen in 3 days. They are sure that the children that have been going missing will be sacrificed on that day as part of some ancient ritual. The mayor gave them half the money, and the other half will be given to them once the missing children are returned. The mayor calls a man named Jackson, who will accompany Hansel and Gretel in their quest to eliminate the witches. He knows the forest inside out. Here, the sheriff with wounded pride forms his own team, and tries very hard to be the first to reach the children. He directs his team to go at night, when it is the most dangerous. He also offers them advance payment. They reach the dark forest and take some rest there. Suddenly, a beautiful lady arrives. She asks them some questions, and tells them that this forest is not safe. They tell the woman that they are in the forest to find the children. After hearing this, the woman turns herself into her true identity. Her real name is Muriel. She kills all of them one by one, but spares one of them, to send the villagers a threatening message. Then we see Hansel in the bar talking to a woman. On the other side, Jackson explains to Gretel about the forest, and the abduction of the children. Suddenly, a young boy named Ben comes there. He asks the siblings for an autograph, and tells them that he is a big fan. Gretel feels very happy, and Hansel tells him the best way to kill a witch. After some time, one of man from the sheriff's team returns. He starts to act very strangely, and delivers the threatening message of the witch. Then the witch goes back to her place, where we meet 2 more witches. They take the child into the cave, where they make him eat an insect. They sacrifice the boy to get a special power, with which they can survive on fire, but it only lasts a few moments. But Muriel knows how to make it last longer. The next day, Hansel is buying some clothes. Mina comes there to talk to him. They converse for a little while, but suddenly Hansel starts to feel dizzy, and takes a special injection. He informs Mina that he has sugar sickness, because he ate a lot of candies when a witch captured him. Sounds something similar to what we call diabetes. Anyway, Mina offers to treat him permanently, but he doesn't trust her that well. He leaves her saying that he has to go. Then we see the same witch, collecting some insects to feed children. She hears a girl's voice, and the witch follows the voice. We see a girl sitting there. But this is a trap set by Hansel and Gretel. They attack the witch and try to capture her, but she overpowers them and flees. They follow her, and after some struggle, Hansel and Gretel are about to capture her, when Jackson comes from behind and paralyzes her. They come back, and bring the witch into the sheriff's office to interrogate her. On the other side, we see Muriel is controlling the witch. She tells them that they are collecting 12 moons for a special event. The siblings didn't understand her at first, but Gretel soon realizes that she is talking about children's sacrifice. She investigates further from kidnapping records, and understands that Muriel is about to kidnap the 12th kid, a girl born in April. Then we see Muriel and her assistant. They are flying over the town. Muriel attacks the town. She goes to the sheriff's office, while her assistant goes to kidnap the girl. The witch makes the kid kill her mother. And afterward, she kills the boy too. She takes the girl and hands her to the troll Edward. Hansel fights her, and tries to save the girl. On the other side, Gretel locks the witch, and gets ready to face the Muriel with Jackson. Muriel comes in, and attacks both of them. Hansel is also fighting another witch. He manages to overpower her by hitting her in her eye, but she escapes on her broom. However, Hansel manages to catch her flying stick. Muriel tells Gretel that she will not kill her now, but later, as she possesses the last important ingredient. Jackson tries to kill Muriel, but she kills him. We see the young boy save Gretel, and take her to his house. On the other hand, the witch eventually escaped from Hansel's hand, and kicked him away from a height. The next day, the sheriff blames the witch hunters for what happened, and therefore kills the mayor. Then we see the young fanboy Ben, cleaning Gretel and helping her, while she is unconscious. After some time, he tries to touch her. However, she catches him red-handed. Eventually, she forgives him and sees his research on witches. In the forest, Mina finds Hansel hanging upside down to a tree. He falls down and faints once again. Mina takes him away, and helps him clean the wounds. She tells him that pond water is good for healing, but he is not a good swimmer. Then we see a romantic moment between Mina and Hansel. Meanwhile, Gretel is looking for her brother. She sees something moving in the forest. But they are the sheriff's men. They capture her and torture her. Sheriff blames the siblings for the disaster in the town. Then we see the same troll Edward. He is watching Gretel and the people around her. The sheriff decides to punish Gretel, and wants to take advantage of her. But this thing makes the giant angry, and he kills all the thugs. Edward takes Gretel with him. He tries to heal her wounds, and gives her water to drink. Then he tells her that trolls always serve witches, and he also tells her his name. He then leaves without saying anything. Hansel comes out of the forest, and sees an old house there. He enters the house and is attacked by someone. The attacker turns out to be his own sister. The siblings reunite once again, and they fell down. They notice some strange things there, and understand that this is a witch house. However, when they come out, they find themselves at their own house. They find their belongings in their beds too. Gretel thinks her mother was a witch, but Hansel again stops her from saying, or doubting their mother. Suddenly, Muriel arrives. She tells them a story, and informs them that their mother was a witch, a great white witch named Adriana, who fell in love with a man. The dark witches needed her heart for the ritual, which will make them immune to fire for the rest of their lives, but she was too strong for all of them. As a result, all of the witches decide to take her daughter's heart instead. Adriana instructed her husband to leave them both in the woods. She was far too proud to escape, and she would never use her magic on humans. Muriel and other witches spread false allegations of witchcraft against her. And people burned her alive, and hanged her husband. After this story, they attack the witch, but she is too powerful for them. She defeats Hansel, and takes Gretel with her to sacrifice her. The next day, Mina arrives to treat Hansel, and she admits to being a white witch as well. So there are two types of witches, good ones and bad ones, who practice dark magic. She later discovers a book of anti-black magic protection. And both of them decide to save Gretel. She blesses the weapons, so they can use them against the witches. Hansel also takes Ben with him. We then see Gretel in a cage. Edward is also there, serving bad witches and doing his duty. Gretel requests him to help her, but the witch arrives there, and instructs him to make preparation for the big event. On the other side, Hansel and Mina are setting traps for witches in the forest. Hansel instructs Ben to shoot anyone moving. They finally arrive at Witch Mountain. All witches are there to witness their queen Muriel, taking the power of a grand witch. The moon turns red, and they are about to start the event, but Hansel steps in. Muriel orders them to kill him, but he shoots one of the witches, killing her. Mina also opens fire at them with her witch-killing machine gun. Muriel orders her assistant to kill Gretel and take her heart. One witch tries to start the event by forcing kids to eat insects. However, Hansel arrives there, and kills her. Muriel tries to kill Gretel, but Edward joined them in the fight. She attacks Edward and throws him from the cliff. During that time, Hansel manages to save the children, and the blood moon is over. Muriel tries to escape, and some witches escape with her through the forest. They get killed by the traps, but Muriel manages to dodge them. Fanboy attacks her and informs Hansel. Gretel goes to save Edward, and she finally manages to save his life. On the other hand, Muriel tries to kill Hansel, but Mina hits her with her spell, making Muriel angry, and she kills her first and escapes. Mina dies in Hansel's hands. Both siblings go inside the candy hut in search of Muriel. She attacks them and they fight together. Hansel suddenly starts to feel dizzy again, and Gretel helps him with the injection. After a long fight, they kill the Grand Witch and leave the place with Fanboy Ben. In the last scene, we see Ben, Hansel, Gretel, and the troll Edward going on their next mission to kill a witch. They decide to kill all witches of the world, and the movie ends here. To know the movie's name, check the pinned comment right now. If you like the story, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel and enable bell notifications to receive the latest regular updates. See you in the next recap.